There are two basic types of medication: prescription drugs and non-prescription drugs. Prescription drugs are drugs that can be prescribed by a physician or other health designated professional, such as a dentist, a nurse practitioner, and or registered pharmacist. Prescription drugs are referred to as ethical or legend drugs. They typically are more potent than non-prescription drugs, which is why they require professional supervision. They also pose a greater risk for adverse side effects, and the conditions for which they are prescribed are generally unsuitable for self-treatment. By law, it is required that a registered pharmacist cannot fill or refill without an order from an authorized prescriber. Moving on to non-prescription drugs. Non-prescription drugs are drugs that are safe and effective for the use by the general public without advice from a health professional. There are two types of non-prescription drugs: over-the-counter drugs and behind-the-counter drugs. Consumers can purchase over-the-counter drugs as needed. Claritin, ibuprofen, Advil, medicines like that. Most over-the-counter drugs are intended to relieve benign conditions rather than cure or control diseases such as allergy relief, pain relief, headaches, cold and flu remedies. Now, behind-the-counter drugs are drugs that require authorization from a pharmacist. The Combat Methamphetamine Epidemic Act of 2005 banned over-the-counter sales of cold medicines that contain pseudoephedrine and similar ingredients that can be used to illegally manufacture methamphetamine, which is a highly addictive drug. But pharmacists can dispense limited quantities of pseudoephedrine from a locked cabinet or behind the counter to who presents photo identification. Now, an example of this and a behind the counter medication is Plan B, which can be given to women over the ages of 18 who present a photo verification. Now we have name brand drugs versus generic drugs. Starting with name brand drugs, name brand refers to the name given by the producing company. They are typically more expensive and they're sold by one manufacturer. Generic drugs are sold under their simplified name. They are more cost effective, up to 80 to 85% less than the name brand counterparts. Several companies can sell the same product. Because of this, that produces competition, which is why they are 80 to 85% less than the name brand drugs. An example of name brand and generic drugs can be Advil versus ibuprofen. They contain the same active, identical ingredients. However, ibuprofen is way cheaper than Advil. Similarities between name brand and generic drugs: they both contain identical active ingredients. They are as equally effective. In terms of quality, dosage, strength, and route of administration, it is all the same. Whether you take a gel capsule or a hard capsule of ibuprofen or Advil, it will do the same thing to your body. It will relieve whatever you want it to relieve. In terms of dosage and strength, you can get 500 milligrams of ibuprofen, 500 milligrams of Advil, and it will do the same thing. And it will equal the same strength. Whether you take it by mouth, by injection, it will perform the same relief or the same test as it is supposed to do.